Greetings. This is Ms. Tora. I'm the academic counselor at Thomas Jefferson Middle School, and you are going to enjoy an academic guidance lesson about why education matters, ways to organize yourself, and why motivation is important in school. At the end in class, we had the kids do a pre and post test, but this is a little bit about what the lesson was that they heard. All right, so take a look at these pictures, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to live there or go to vacation there, right? Or drive a Bugatti? Okay, well, these things all have something in common, okay, and we're going to talk about that and how to get them. Now look at this slide, okay, so what you're looking at is the average yearly income you can attain based on your level of schooling. So let's just say that you're one of those kids that doesn't really like school, you're not really into it, all your teachers are lame, okay, and you go to high school and you're like, forget it, I quit, okay. If you drop out, generally the most you would make a year is around $19,000. Now that sounds like a lot, but I'm going to show you here in a couple slides why it's not. All right, now if you go to high school and you stick it out, right? I mean, like you bust your tail, you get it done, you're already making around $11,000 more than somebody who didn't finish. Okay, now look at the next bar, right? Some college. So say you go to UK, U of L, some school like that, you try for a couple of years, you know, it's not really your thing, you end up dropping out. You're still making around $6,000 more than somebody who never went. Okay, so an associate's degree, next bar, right? That's like a 2-year school, like a specialty school. So like a DeVry University, a Brown Mackie College, you know, something kind of like that where you can specialize in a certain field. $42,000. Right, now a bachelor's degree is your traditional 4-year colleges, okay? Western, Eastern, UK, U of L, and the average income for people who graduate is around $54,000. It's a 4-year school. Now, once you get your bachelor's and you go back again for a couple more years, that's called your master's degree. Okay, you're essentially getting smarter in a certain area. All right, $69,000. Now, your doctoral degrees are even 2 years past that, sometimes 3 years. And it's not that you're a physical doctor like you go to when you're sick, but you're a professional, you're an expert in that field. So you can be, you know, a doctor of art or of music or of history. Okay, and then you have your professional degrees, which are your doctors, surgeons, lawyers, stuff like that. Okay, so what do you notice? Well, the more you go to school, the more you make, right? Okay, now there are exceptions to this rule, absolutely. I mean, you could probably name me 10 people who didn't do this track and they make a lot of money. Okay, but this is the average, and in our society and the way it works is if you want to make more money, the chances that that will happen when you go to school is much higher than that if you didn't go, okay? All right, so another reason why education matters, other than the money aspect, right, is because they've done studies that show that people who are more educated actually live longer, healthier lives. Okay, so we'll take a look at that here in just a second on the next slide. All right, so let's start with the gentleman at the top, all right, in green. All right, so if you don't finish high school, your average life expectancy is 73 years old, roughly. Are you going to make it to 73? See you later, okay? Now, if you go to college, all right, and graduate from college, you are upping your life expectancy to almost around 80. So it's 7 years longer on the planet Earth, dude, enjoying life, all right? So ladies, let's take a look at you, and then kind of like the bluish purple. Your average life expectancy is about 78, 79 years old, okay, if you don't graduate high school. But if you do, you go to college, you're looking at 84. All right, so studies have shown those people who actually graduate college live longer than the counterparts who do not. Right? All right, so another benefit to education is it reduces your health risks. Okay? Studies have shown that 4 years of college or 4 years of education past high school, you know, lowers your chances of being overweight or having heart disease or smoking or having diabetes. Now, I mean, are there people who graduate and have these things? Absolutely. But as a whole, on the average, it does decrease these chances, therefore allowing you to live longer. I mean, think about why else education can matter, right? I mean, think about our world. We live in a world of numbers and procedures. All right, so if you're not really that good at math and numbers, if you go to a store and buy something, right, and you pay cash, you don't really know what your change should be, then you can get taken advantage of. You know, somebody can pocket your money. All right, and if you're not crafty enough to know, you know, how your bank statements work or to watch it, because, you know, people make errors too there. Or understanding credit card statements, or, you know, what your credit score means. I mean, these are all numbers in application in the real world. If you don't understand how those things work, you certainly can be taken advantage of. And you know, people will use that to your advantage. So it's another reason why, you know, you really want to be aware of everyday things, especially in terms of math. All right, so I hear all the exceptions out there, right? I mean, you don't really have to go to college or school to make a lot of money. But one of the reasons why you do, okay, one of the reasons why that bar chart is accurate with the more school you go to, the better money you make, is because of this right here, your credibility and ability. People all day long can say how good they are at something, right? Like, I'm the best. You should hire me. But if you go to college and you get the degree, then that raises your credibility. That's other people saying, yes, they are really good at this. You should hire them for a job, right? So it's other people other than yourself saying that you are credible, that you have the knowledge to possess. You have the knowledge and possess what's needed for that skill or that job. Okay. Now your ability is something a little different. That's that you actually do possess these skills. So as you're going through college, right, and getting your credibility, and other people are like, yeah, you know, they know what they're talking about. Your ability is you learning the skills that will help you keep the job. Okay, so that's another reason why credibility and ability are also important, and they pertain to college, because your credibility is important to get you the job, but your ability will keep you from getting fired. All right, so you know that bar graph earlier we were talking about if you dropped out of high school. Okay, so this is a slide that kind of shows, well, this is what your life would be like. Okay, so you make $19,720 a year. All right, so let's take out a place to live, right? An apartment, $500 a month. Now, like, that's not even a high-end apartment, okay? But just roughly, that's $6,000 a year. Now you're down to $13,720. Okay, now let's do food, right? No kids, because those little suckers are expensive. Okay, $100 a week. That's $4,800 a year. Now you're down to $89. Okay. Now let's go for clothing. All right, and shoes, right? Jackets, anything you want to buy for clothing. All right, about $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. Now you're down to $7,720. Okay. Now let's look at some of the bills. Let's do gas, electric, water, just to name a few. Just a few. All right, let's average that out to be about $200 a month. All right, there's another $2,400 a year. Now you're at a little over $5,000. So let's add in a cell phone, right? Everybody gotta have cell phone. Everybody gotta have cable. Okay, it's about $200 a month. That's $2,400 a year. Now you're down to $2,900. So what have we left off? Like, what have we not paid for that you think that you would want? Well, most of my kids, we talk about Christmas, right? Holidays, vacations, right? Going out to eat, all right, hospital bills, right, going to the doctor. But the main thing they always say is a car. So we talk about that for a little bit. And we talk about having a car payment, $200 a month. Now, I mean, that's no Bugatti with $200 a month, all right? But that's $2,400 a year. And then you got to do car insurance, right? Geico, 15 minutes or less, right? All right, that's about $1,200 a year. And then you got to do gas maintenance, oil changes, right? Tires, all that stuff, anything that goes wrong. So a car, roughly a year, costs $5,100. And you only have $2,920, so you don't have one. So we talk about how, like, you know, that $19,000 sounds like a lot, man, but that's you flying solo. Okay, and you know, like, if you have kids or a girlfriend or, you know, boyfriend, anything like that, I mean, that all ups the ante. So just reiterating the fact that why education matters, why school is so important, is because you got to do better than that. That's not making you to live to 84. That's not a happy, healthy lifestyle. It's hard to attain when you're stressed about money. Okay, so that's why school is really important, and you got to stick it out. And I like this slide too because it does reiterate the point made on the previous slide, okay, especially the second bullet. All right, and the reason education matters too is you got to kind of consider it from the employer's perspective. All right, so say you take a company like UPS, right? They have 350 people who want 2 of the jobs that they got posted. All right, but if they look at the people applying, and 100 of those people have similar educational background as the people that already work there, right? Okay, so say I work for UPS, I went to University of Louisville, I work there. My employer likes me, man. I'm a good worker, I'm a hard worker, I'm reliable, all those wonderful things. Then as the employer goes to look at those 350 candidates, they might look at the ones who graduated from U of L first because they know what to expect. They're like, yeah, all my U of L employees, man, they know what they're doing. I can count on them. They're good workers. Okay, so you can kind of consider it as it is a leg up. Like it is an advantage sometimes, right? So those are some of the reasons and points of why education matters. So we're going to switch gears here in just a second and talk about organization. I love this slide because when I show it in class, the kids look at the picture first and they're like, holy cow, right? I mean, imagine if that's their desk. Now, I also joke with them too. I'm like, I'm sure your room doesn't look anything like this, right? Okay, so let's talk about organization because it does go hand in hand with education. All right, so what does it mean to be organized? Well, you take something messy like that or your room and you organize it, you put it in a logical, strategical, structured manner. All right, so why should you be organized? Well, I mean, you're prepared, right? You're not as stressed. You got more time to focus. Okay, now everybody has the feeling of when you lost something or you couldn't find something that you needed. Okay, so like that moment where you're like, oh, where did it go? That panic moment. If you're organized, you rarely feel that. I mean, not to say that you never do, but it's just less likely. All right, you know where things are, you're on top of it. Okay, so why be organized? Well, how in the world do you keep track of what you got to do? Right? I mean, the most successful people in the world write stuff down, dude. It's a reason that we make grocery lists before we go to the grocery store, okay? You got to make sure that you get the things done and the things that you need, all right? So one of the ways to do that is to use your agenda. Thomas Jefferson Middle School pays for every student to have an agenda. All right, it's got other valuable information in it, but it is for the student use to write down what is due, what's coming up, what do they need to remember, events at school. I mean, this is a huge communication piece in terms of how do you know what you're doing in class and what needs to be done. All right. And there's some other ways to keep yourself organized in terms of keeping calendars, but the ones down at the bottom too, like having a routine, is also huge. I mean, when your kids come home from school, they should have a routine in terms of like where do they go to sit and do their homework? Do they get a snack first? Do they put it in their backpack? Do they have a folder that they use that's the same thing every time? Do they have a binder? Like these are all things parents can do to kind of help keep kids organized and let them know those good habits that'll help them in the long run too. And checking grades. I mean, like if you can log in to Parent Portal and check and see how your kids are doing and if they're missing any assignments, that's huge too. I mean, there's an app that JCPS has for your smartphone that you can look on anytime, anywhere, and access how your kids are doing in their class. So, I mean, that's one way to kind of help them stay on top of them too in terms of what they need to do. A lot of time in middle school, kids, they don't really like the agenda, they don't keep up with it because, in elementary school, it's used often as a communication to the parents from the teacher. They would grab it and write a note to the parent. But it's really not that purpose in middle school. I mean, here at Thomas Jefferson, it is strictly this is how you keep yourself organized. It is a checklist. It's something that the kids use for themselves. Okay? And what helps is if your kid is struggling in any way in school, having them bring home their agenda is huge. I mean, even if they don't have any homework, they can at least write down the objective or what they learned that day. I mean, that's what I have most of our kids do. It's like, look, man, you don't have any homework? I get it, write none, but at least, write down the objective or the closing task or a couple of the vocab words that you learned. So, I mean, if you really want to get involved and motivate your kid and know how they're doing in school, get a routine, use the agenda, check it every day, have some rewards when they do a good job with it. This is a huge piece in helping them learn habits that'll help them greatly down the road. Motivation, right? Why do we do what we do? Why do we care about school? Why are parents always on us? Why are teachers always on us? I mean, sometimes delayed gratification isn't really a strong suit of most middle schoolers. Okay, I don't really understand why they're working so hard in math class and how it's going to impact how they do in high school and on the ACT and in college. All right, but you got to keep this conversation going with your kids. All right, have them think about their future. What do they want? What kind of car do they want to drive? Where do they want to live? I mean, like, in keeping that in sight. Okay, now I know it's long distance and kind of a long way away, but you can also make some short-term goals too, like making the honor roll or coming home 5 days with your agenda. I mean, start small, but they've really got to think about why do they want to work hard? Why should they want to work hard? And remind them of this. Okay? And why are people motivated? Right? Let's talk about that for a second. Well, one of them is pride. Right? You have a pride about who you are and what the work you turn in and what people think about you and those things. And then you have a sense of self-worth, right? Like you're worth something in the world. Achievement. Like everybody loves the attaboy and a good job. It feels good. Okay? You have expectations out of life. Like you're expected to go to college, you're expected to buy a house, you're expected to buy a car. I mean, these are some things that like you want to do, and that's why you're working hard. Okay, and let's talk about money, right? It makes the world go round, or is that love? I'm not really sure. But money, is a huge motivator, and that's a very physical thing that a lot of our kids do identify with quickly. Okay, but one of the things about motivation is you got to know why you're motivated, but then there's ways to motivate yourself too, and you got to think positive, man. Like that inner voice, that voice inside your head, has got to be like, you can do it. Like stick it out, like try harder, like do it again. Everybody makes mistakes, like visualizing your goal. Get other people in on your goal, right? Chart your progress, man. Like if you want to score higher on a math test, then do that and chart it. Where did you start from? Our kids do a lot of that with their math testing scores and all of their assessments that they take. I mean, we have an assessment data notebook that your kids should be able to speak to in terms of where they're scoring, how they're improving, what they're improving on. So ask them. Okay, and never skip 2 days. Like, don't take any breaks. Reward yourself, give it time, but like you can't quit. And back to the money motivation, I tell all of my middle schoolers, I show them this chart. This is keys money, right? This is the current amount that you get paid based on your grades. And a lot of my sixth graders always have the reaction like, what? You can get paid? Yes, you can. This clock starts in high school. So if you can maintain a GPA of any of those levels, right, a 2.5 all the way up to a 4.0, which is all A's, and you maintain that for the year, whatever your average is, the state will pay you money based on where your GPA is. So if you go to high school and you crush it your freshman year and you're 4.0 the whole year, that's $500 in your pocket. Okay? You do it again your sophomore, junior, and senior year, that's $2,000 you can make based on your grades. So I always ask my kids, hey man, if I paid you $2,000, would you study for this test? All of them say yes. If I paid you $2,000 to do your homework, would you do it? Yes, because it's a lot of money, but it's reality. And that's that motivation, like, why do you do what you do? This is why. You can't mess around in middle school and not do well in your classes and expect to go to high school and pull 4.0. Okay? Now, the best thing about the Keys money is it accrues through your 4 years. So you get $2,000, and you go to U of L or UK, and they go, all right, you did 4.0, awesome. I'm going to pay you $2,000 for your freshman year, and another for your sophomore year, and another for your junior and your senior. So we're talking $8,000 towards your college for doing your work. Now, this is not the only way you can earn money, is the best part. They give you money on your ACT score, if you're international baccalaureate degree, if you take the AP exam. I mean, there's a ton of ways to get a lot of money towards college. So I always motivate my kids and talk to them about this and say, look, the clock starts in high school, but really it starts in middle school because you got to work hard for your grades today. All right, so this is a little motivational video about why you should work hard and reasons to work hard. The kids always enjoy it, so if you like it, click on the link, give it a see. And at the end of the lesson, we always do a recap. We frame the lesson. So, I mean, do you know why education matters? Can you speak to it? Can you give me 3 ways that you keep yourself organized? All right, and do you know why you do what you do for motivation? So the kids answer these questions, we talk about them, and it really just tries to put it in perspective of why every day matters at school and why they need to work hard. Thank you.